First and foremost, I would like to thank Department of Physics, Namchi Government College for providing us this opportunity to make a YouTube video instead of practical examination or sessional 2 of 25 marks. Furthermore, I would like to thank our teacher Dr. C.P. Khatiwara for providing us this topic and his guidance. My name is Abhishek Kumar Sharma, roll number 19, NS0091, Physics Honors, 4th semester, 2021. And my topic is Langevin classical and quantum theories of diamagnetic materials. Our today's topic is Langevin classical theory of diamagnetic materials, magnetism in solids. So all kinds of materials, whether metals, insulators or semiconductors, exhibit magnetism according to their magnetic properties. Now they are classified in diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, ferromagnetic materials, antiferromagnetic materials and ferrimagnetic materials. Now when subjected to a magnetic field, all materials develop magnetization, which is either parallel or anti-parallel to the applied magnetic field. Now in diamagnetic materials, magnetization is anti-parallel to the applied magnetic field, which means in strong magnetic field, diamagnetic materials are repelled. Whereas in paramagnetic materials, magnetization is parallel to the applied magnetic field. In ferromagnetic materials, it has spontaneous magnetization. Antiferromagnetic materials, M vanishes, and in ferrimagnetic materials it also has spontaneous magnetization. Now let us define some terms. Magnetization. Now magnetic moment per unit volume. Now what is magnetic moment? Magnetic moment is also known as magnetic dipole moment, and it is represented by mu, which is a vector quantity. Now when two opposite poles forming a system are separated by a small distance, it is known as a magnetic dipole moment. When dipole is placed in external magnetic field, it experiences a torque. Now torque is given by tau and magnetic field is given by B. The both are vector quantities. Now the magnetic dipole moment is defined as mu cross B is equals to tau. Now next term is magnetic susceptibility. It is a measure of the ease with which a unit volume of a material is magnetized by a magnetizing field, where our H is magnetization field and M is magnetization. Now magnetic susceptibility is given by mu magnetization field over magnetization. It is a dimensionless quantity because the dimension of magnetization field and magnetization both are same, and it is negative for diamagnetic materials. Now we come to our topic, diamagnetism. Diamagnetism is the occurrence of negative susceptibility which arises from Lenz's law. Lenz's law we have studied earlier. So which says that when the magnetic flux through an electric circuit is changed, an induced current is set up in such a direction so as to oppose the flux change. Now we consider Bohr's model of atom in which a central nucleus is surrounded by electrons revolving around it with some frequency omega naught. So the Lenz's law says that if an external field is applied, the current changes so as to oppose the changes the frequency of revolution. So this is the definition of diamagnetism. Now mathematically, let us consider forces on an electron in a circular orbit in the absence of B. Now we take circular orbit because we are considering Bohr's model of an atom. First, the orbit is circular, so we have centripetal force. Now centripetal force is given by mv square by r, where v is equals to omega into r. Now substituting F is equals to m omega square r. Now we have another force here. Now we have another force, which is electrostatic interaction between the nucleus and the electrons, where F is equals to m omega naught square r. Now which is equals to, so that electrostatic interaction is given by Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, where E is the charge of electron, Ze is the charge of nucleus, m is the mass of electron, and r is the circular orbit. And now from these two equations, with F is equals to m omega naught square r and Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, we can basically calculate the value of omega naught, which is equals to, omega naught is equals to under root Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught mr cube. Now this is the value of the frequency with which the electron is revolving around the nucleus in the absence of external magnetic field. Now we apply some magnetic field. Now in the presence of magnetic field, Lorentz force comes in the picture. Now Lorentz force on an electron moving with the velocity v is given by F is equals to minus E v into b. Minus is due to the negative charge, now which is equals to minus E omega into r into b. We replace the value of b here. Now assuming applied magnetic field is perpendicular to the orbit. Now perpendicular to the orbit means theta becomes 90 degree and sin theta becomes 1. So F is equals to minus E omega r b. Now this omega is the frequency of electron revolving around the nucleus in the presence of magnetic field. Now the final equation of force can be written as m omega square r is equals to electrostatic force Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square minus the Lorentz force er omega b, or m omega square r plus er omega b minus Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square is equals to 0. Now dividing the whole equation by mr. Now omega square plus er omega b by mr minus Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square mr, where this r and this r cancels out. Now from the previous equation we know that this whole term is equals to omega naught square. So now we replace this whole term by omega naught square, and therefore we get omega square plus E b omega by m minus omega naught square is equals to r is equals to 0. Now this becomes the quadratic equation. Now solving the quadratic equation, it becomes minus E b by m, which is minus b plus minus under root 4 b minus 4 ac, and solving it we get plus minus omega naught square plus eb by 2m whole square minus eb by 2m. Now if eb by 2m is very much less than omega naught, then we can write omega is equals to plus minus omega naught minus eb by 2m. Now what this shows is that the applied magnetic field changes the angular frequency from omega naught to omega. The frequency here is changed to omega naught to omega. Now the plus minus sign means that the electrons having the orbital moment parallel to the field are slowed down, and those whose moments are anti-parallel are speeded up by the amount EB by 2m. Now we look at the equation, which is omega is equals to plus minus omega naught minus EB by 2m, where omega naught is the frequency in absence of magnetic field and omega is the frequency in presence of magnetic field. So the factor is changed by EB by 2m, and this EB by 2m is called the Larmor theorem, Larmor frequency, which is given by the Larmor frequency. Now this change in frequency will give rise to a change in orbital magnetic dipole moment, that is, a magnetic polarization or magnetizations take place. So this is how the magnetization phenomena takes place. This is because the change in frequency is equivalent to the additional current. So as Lenz's law says, the current is induced in frequency is equivalent to the additional current. Now we will calculate this additional current. So the current for each electron due to the frequency change EB by 2m is given as this EB by 2m is the Larmor frequency. Now I is equals to charge into revolution per unit time, which is nothing but the frequency. Now I is given as I is equals to Q and Q into F. Now what is charge? Charge is equals to ZE and frequency is equals to omega by 2 pi, and this Larmor frequency is equals to omega is equals to EB by 2m. So putting the values, current is equals to minus ZE by 2 pi EB by 2m, which is equals to minus ZE square B by 4 pi m. Now magnetic moment of this current loop is given by I into area of the loop. Now if rho is the radius of the loop, then area is equals to pi rho square. Now magnetic moment is equals to minus ZE square B by 4 pi m into area of the loop, that is pi rho square, which gives magnetic moment is equals to minus ZE square B rho square by 4m. Now this negative sign signifies that the induced magnetic moment is always opposite to the applied magnetic field. Here rho is the distance of electron from the field axis. If the field is applied in z direction, rho can be written as rho is equals to x square plus y square. But we have to use averages because all electrons in an atom does not have same radii. That's why mean square distance of electrons from nucleus is considered as average rho square is equals to average x square plus average y square plus average z square. This average r square is known as mean r square or average distance. So for spherically symmetric atom in all direction it will be same. So mean x square is equals to mean y square is equals to mean z square. So this can be written as r square is equals to 3 into mean x square, and rho square can be written, rho square is equals to 2 into mean x square. So now in view of this, the magnetic moment becomes minus ZE square by 4mb into 2 by 3 mean r square, which becomes magnetic moment is equals to minus ZE square b by 6m b into mean r square, which is called the magnetic moment. Now if we have n number of atoms, then the magnetic moment is multiplied by n. Now m is equals to n into magnetic moment, and B is equals to mu naught h. Now we know susceptibility is equals to m by h. Now putting the value of m and h, we get mu n mu naught by B. Now putting the value of magnetic moment, we get susceptibility is equals to n mu naught by B into minus ZE square B by 6m mean R square. Now we get susceptibility is equals to minus ZE square n mu naught mean R square by 6m. Now this is called the Langevin result, and the theory which we were doing is known as classical theory of Langevin for diamagnetic materials. And this result shows that the susceptibility is independent of temperature. Here there is no term that is dependent on temperature, so the temperature is independent. So this can be attributed to the fact that electronic structures is always independent of temperature. So as the diamagnetic susceptibility, now susceptibility for almost all diamagnetic materials is of the order of 10 to the power minus 6. So this is called the Langevin classical theory for diamagnetic materials. Now we will learn about quantum theory of diamagnetic materials. So to derive the quantum theory, we considered an electron of mass m which is moving with the velocity v in an electromagnetic field. So we can also write v is equals to x dot. Now equation of the motion of this electron is equals to Lorentz force into E. So m dv by dt, which is nothing but acceleration, is equals to E into Lorentz force, E plus v into b, v cross b. So to derive the acceleration in quantum theory, we use the Lagrangian function. Now in Lagrangian function, L is equals to half mx dot square plus minus Ea into x dot plus E phi, which is, we denote this as equation 1, where phi is the scalar potential and A is the vector potential. We also know that the relation between B and A is B is equals to curl A, which is equals to del into A. Now where del A is equals to partial differentiation of the scalar potential, so d phi by dt. So in quantum mechanics, momenta can be expressed as in Lagrangian as px is equals to del L by del x dot. So now putting the value of Lagrangian from the above equation 1, we get px is equals to partial differentiation del by del x dot half mx dot square minus Ea into x dot plus E phi, which is equals to mx dot minus Eax. We denote this as equation 2, where this A is the x component. So from this equation we get x dot is equals to px plus Eax by divided by m. We denote this by equation 3. So from the Lagrangian we can calculate the Hamiltonian. So the relation between Hamiltonian and Lagrangian
x dot minus L. So
is p x dot minus L. So we are talking about the x component, so we have to add the subscript x. So h is equals to px on bracket px minus eax by m minus half mx dot square plus eax into x dot minus e phi. Here we are substituting the values of L and x dot from the equation 1 and 2. So now again we are substituting the value of x dot, so which becomes h is equals to px under bracket px plus eax by m minus half m px plus eax by m plus eax into px plus eax by m minus e phi. So here we have this term which is equals to 0 because the angle between the both of these terms is 0. So the equation of Hamiltonian becomes h is equals to px plus eax by m under bracket px minus m by 2 under bracket px plus eax by m bracket close minus e phi. So here we can cancel out this m and this m, so we have Hamiltonian is equals to px plus eax by m under bracket px minus px plus eax by 2 minus e phi. So now this can be written as h is equals to px plus eax by m under bracket px plus eax by 2 minus e phi. So now this is the x component. Now considering the y and z component also, the total Hamiltonian becomes 1 by 2m under bracket p plus ea square minus ep. So this is the Hamiltonian. We denote this by equation 4. So now we know that momentum p in classical mechanics is written as minus iota ascot del in quantum mechanics. So now we put the value of p in Hamiltonian, so it becomes 1 by 2 m under bracket minus iota ascot del plus ea bracket close whole square minus e phi. So now it can be written as h is equals to 1 by 2 m under bracket minus iota ascot. Now we will open this, so this del can be written as, we are opening this, so it can be written as I cap d by dx plus j by del y plus k cap del by del z and plus e. So the three components of a are I ax plus j ay plus k a z whole square minus e phi. Now if we consider only the x component of the Hamiltonian, then the x component can be written as minus iota h squared del by del x plus eax under bracket minus iota h squared del by del x plus eax, which is the x component of the operator for the wave function psi. Now for the y component, so now let this operator be operated on the wave function psi. So it becomes minus iota k del by minus iota h squared del by del x plus eax minus iota h squared del by del x plus eax whole psi, or it becomes minus iota h squared del by del x plus eax minus iota h squared del psi by del x plus eax psi. Now simply cross multiplying this, we get minus h squared square del square psi by del x square d2 psi by dx2 minus e x dot, this is x dot h squared d by dx del by del x ax psi minus iota h cot e ax del psi by del x plus e square ax square psi, or we can write this as minus h cot square d del 2 by del x2 psi minus iota h cot e psi del by del x ax minus iota h cot e ax del psi by del x minus iota h cot e ax del psi by del x plus e square ax square psi. This term comes here. So now we taking common terms, so these terms comes as it is, minus h cot square del 2 by del x2 psi minus iota h cot e, we take common from this, and so psi del ax by del x plus 2ax del psi by del x, we taking the common, and now this term remains, so it comes here as it is. So e square ax square psi, or minus h cot square del 2 by del x2 minus iota h cot e, this is h cot e, and del ax by del x plus 2ax del by del x bracket close plus e square ax square. So now this was the x component. Now we can also take the y and z component, so it becomes, we can write the Hamiltonian as h is equals to minus h cot square by 2m del square minus iota h cot by 2m e del a minus iota h cot e by m under bracket ax del by del x plus ay del by del y plus az del by del z plus e square by 2m a square minus e phi. So we take this as equation 5. Now so here we have del dot a, so we know that del dot a is the partial differentiation of phi, so we can replace del dot a by phi. So Hamiltonian can be written as h is equals to minus k square by 2m del square minus iota h cot by 2m e phi minus iota h cot e by m ax del by del x plus ay del y by del, this is del by del y plus az del by del z plus e square by 2m a square minus e phi. So this is equation 6. Now we consider a uniform magnetic field B along z axis. So B along z axis, A may be chosen, the potential may be chosen, A is equals to B cross R. So now if we want to calculate the x component, so the x component will be minus half b y. So now doing the cross product, we know that x cap j cap k cap and bx by and bz. So now b cross r, and r is nothing but x, y and z. So this x component will be nothing but this cancels, then by z minus b z y. So x component is byz minus bzy, which is equals to minus bxy equals to minus by. So here we can see that this by is 0, so minus bxy minus, so this bx is nothing but b, so it becomes by. Now we have half b cross r, so this becomes minus half by, minus half by. Similarly, and the y component is equals to half bz, and this az is equals to 0. So now we will evaluate the ax del by del x plus ay del by del y plus az del by del z term. So I mean this term we will evaluate. So putting the values of ax, ay and az, we have half b under bracket x del by del y minus y del by del x. So now we know that the vector potential phi is equals to q by r, and now we are talking about the electron here, so it is minus e by r, and phi dot is equals to del phi by del t. So if phi is equals to minus e by r, then the partial differentiation is equals to 0, and a square is nothing but a dot a, so this becomes a half b cross r into half b cross r, which is equals to 1 by 4 b square cross r square plus y square. Sorry, this is x square plus y square. R square is equals to x square plus y square, so this comes here. So now using the consideration of equation 6, so substituting the values, the Hamiltonian changes to h is equals to minus h cot square by 2m del square minus iota h cot eb by 2m x del y minus y del by del x plus e square by 8m b square under bracket x square plus y square, which is r, minus e5, which is equation number 7. This equation has come from the 6th equation. Phi dot is equals to 0, so the first term in equation 6 has vanished, and instead of a square, this term we have written this term, so here 4 into 2 becomes 8, so 8m, and this equation becomes equation number 7. So when we compare to the previous equation of Hamiltonian, we can conclude that the two terms are added in this Hamiltonian, and those two terms can be written as h prime when an external field is applied. So the two terms can be written as h prime is equals to minus iota h cot eb by 2m under bracket x del by del y minus y del by del x plus e square b square by 8m x square plus y square. So this is nothing but a small perturbation which happens when an electron is in external field. So this is all about the quantum theory of diamagnetism. So here I would like to say thank you, and I would like to end my video here. Thank you so much.